Hi, my name is Gurpreet Singh and welcome to my channel. In this video, we'll talk about the 5 biggest mistakes a first-time home buyers can make. Buying a home is really exciting and it is the biggest investment a first-time home buyers can make in their life. As a first-time home buyer, we know that how challenging it can be to navigate the process of buying the first home. That's why I have this video for you. Let's dive into the video and get to the first point. What's the first biggest mistake they make in their in the process of buying their home? The first and foremost step to consider when you begin the buying process is to have your down payment ready in your bank and get pre-approved yourself for the mortgage. Knowing the budget can successfully narrow down your home search. I'll strongly suggest don't use the higher end of your pre-approved budget because there will be extra cost at the closing, such as lawyer fees, land transfer fees, and much more. Having a fund for the closing is not an option. You should have that in your bank, and you should keep in mind that there will be a extra cost at the closing. Also, don't forget to have extra emergency funds in the bank. This is the biggest mistake people do. Having an extra emergency fund in the bank ensure that you won't be able to get into the situation where you won't be able to pay the mortgage. So you should have at least 3% of your home's value in the emergency fund, or at least 3 months of your expenses, just to cover up the unexpected cost like medical issues probably. I know that in Canada it's everything is covered in OHIP, but there are situations where certain things are not covered in the OHIP. You have to pay for that for to cover up these situations. You should have 3 months of your expenses in the emergency fund, and also you could be in the situation where you have to travel for your residential purposes. The second biggest mistake the first time home buyers make is they fall in love with the staging. Staging is the preparation which sellers do before listing their house in the market. In this process, they declutter the property, organizing the furniture to make the home more beautiful, more bigger, and to make it more appealing to the buyers. They also remove necessary appliances like microwaves, probably coffee makers, and so on, from the kitchen countertop to make it more spacious. Sometimes they undersize the furniture as well, to make the rooms more bigger. Do not fall in love with these. Rather focus on the material facts of the property. Material facts are anything which changes a normal person mind to either buy or sell a property. Some material facts of the properties are things like how old is the roof, when is the last time they changed the windows, and how the foundation looks like. uh, is it is the footings are moving or not. These are some of the material facts of the property you need to look into rather than focusing on the staging. Focus on this. If you don't consider finding the material facts of the property, after the closing, it will bring unexpected cost to you, which will be much more bigger than doing your due diligence before the transaction close. So you need to consider about the material facts of the property. Hire a third party professional probably to look into different material facts of the property. And this is also the job of the real estate salesperson as well, to find out the material facts of the property and consider you uh, that you should hire a third party professional to find out the material facts. The third biggest mistake of first time home buyers make is using the listing salesperson as your agent to represent you in the transaction. This I'll explain how this will how the first time home buyers come across this situation. I'll explain this with an example. Let's say you visit the open house, and the listing salesperson is there to show the property at the open house, and you like the property, and the listing salesperson probably asks you, do you have an agent who represent you? But you in that situation you didn't have a the agent who represent yourself, and the listing salesperson asks you, uh, he can able to help you out with the situation, if with the transaction, if you don't have the agent, and you agree with that to have the listing salesperson represent you in the same transaction. The moment you did this, you are in the multiple representation situation. Now there are some certain obligations which the listing salesperson has, and he must consent that to you, and he must disclose those obligation to both his client, his seller client, and yourself as well. And in some of these situations, I don't know. I'm not saying that it's all the salesperson, but in some situation, listing salesperson doesn't, does not tell you about the obligation about having you in the multiple representation situation. Some of the obligation under the multiple representation are he can't advise his buyer client to about the price he should put the offer on, and similarly goes for the seller client. He can't advise about what offer about the price, what offer the price he should accept on. This is the part of the negotiating skill of the real estate person. If he comes into the multiple representation situation, how would he play the part of the negotiating part? So don't come across this situation. Never use the listing salesperson as your agent to represent yourself on the transaction. The fourth mistake they do is they don't investigate the neighborhood. Location is one of the most buzzworthy phrase probably you have heard in the market. I'm not, practically speaking, I'm not saying that location doesn't matter, doesn't affect the value of the real estate property. It does affect the value of the property, but there are some other things to consider as well. For example, how far is the work from the neighborhood you're searching properties from? If you have children, consider proximity of the school from your location or from the property you're putting an offer on. Search what type of school boards are available in the neighborhood. Apart from these, there are other consideration as well. Some of them are crime rate. Probably that's the biggest of all. Accessibility to close amenities is also the biggest of all the consideration as well. So these consideration does play an important role when investigating the neighborhood. So do your due diligence, properly investigate the neighborhood before putting the offer on the property. The fifth biggest mistake, probably the biggest of all, they make without thinking of too much, is they open a new credit lines for themselves. They don't think much about this and comes across a situation where they open a new lines. It could be as simple as financing a new furniture before the closing, or probably financing a car before the closing. For example, they put an offer on the property which was accepted by the seller. So after the offer got accepted, they went into the furniture store. Everybody wants to have a new furniture in their new house, so they went into the furniture store and they financed the furniture. So since they have financed the furniture now, their debt ratio is changed, which will affect their pre-approved budget now. So in this situation, they are not pre-approved for the same value of money as they were approved before the financing. So they might face issues at the closing. So don't come across these kind of situation. Always consult your real estate agent or mortgage specialist before taking these kind of steps. They could advise you to delay opening the new lines. You could do this after closing the transaction or after closing the sale of your house. So these are the 5 mistakes a first-time home buyer could make. So that's it for this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, comment below in the comment section. If you have any question, just let me know. I'll answer each and every one of you. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There's a ton of information coming through. Peace out. Hi, my name is Gurpreet Singh and welcome to my channel. Today I'll share my experience about how I choose my brokerage